I love that Roger Federer guy. Meanwhile, I love the NBA Finals, Game 1. Let's talk about it, shall we? Warriors taking on the Raptors. We already know that. Drake is doing what he does, trolling, wearing a Del Curry jersey. Raptors defending well early on. Curry trying to get freed up right here at the top. Gasol plays good defense. He misses. They go back the other way. Later in the first, Kyle steals it from the Warriors. Raptors move. Gasol, let's check him out, because last night I was really impressed. He reminded me of his brother from the Lakers of yesteryear. Take it to the top. He hits it. Nice jumper. Warriors were held to just 21 points in the first quarter, fewest in the finals game for the Warriors since 2016. Steph is like, what's going on? I don't know. Right here, though, check it out. On the other end, Kawhi double-teamed. Yeah, well, Gasol, Fred VanVleet, new father, he knocks it down. Second quarter, again, Kawhi driving, draws in 4, and he kicks it right back out. So the new scouting report is other people on the team besides Kawhi, okay? I don't know if they know that. Here we are, VanVleet combined for 21 points. Him and Gasol, Raptors led by 10 at the half. You know, so, David, when teams lead by 10, what happens?
They usually win, I believe, right?
Oh, yes, but what about this other guy? Have you heard of him?
Yeah,
Pascal
let's get Pascal Siakam into the highlight, because he dominated this game, especially in the second half. Great little move there on Draymond. He really abused Draymond Green in this game, and Draymond is a great defensive player. A little bit later, Siakam feeling it, knocks that down. 26 points through 3. You see the field goals, 11 of 13, and he actually heated up after that. Makes the tough leaner, gets that to go. He made 11 straight field goals, longest streak in the last 20 NBA Finals. A little bit later. Yeah, just flings that in.
Yeah.
Boogie takes a shot to the eye. He's good, Kerry. Really good.
Yeah. This just in, David.
Yeah. And then Kawhi, this is a contested shot over Kevon Looney. Nothing but the bottom of the barrel.
You know
he had 23.
I'm telling you, Golden State was just rusty. Too many days off, David.
Yeah, and the Raptors, really good defensive team. They made them work. That's when you knew it was their night, Kerry, when VanVleet threw that one in, hit classic work, losing their minds. And then one more from Pascal. He cleans up his own miss. He had 32. And then Draymond and Drake, a little Dre feud going, maybe? I don't know.
No feud at all. They're friends. David.
Raptors win Game 1. Here's the star of Game 1, Pascal Siakam, after a career night.
It just proves that, you know, if you put the work in, man, and it's something that is so cliche most of the time, but, you know, that's the story of my life, just going out there every single night, working hard to get to this level, and knowing that, you know, I have so much to learn, and I have, you know, so much room to improve and grow. I think that's what makes it fun, and for me, just kind of falling in love with the game and wanting to get better and wanting to learn.
I let him get in the rhythm in the first half, first quarter, really. So I got to do a better job of taking his rhythm away, and I will. But, you know, he had a great game, but that's on me.
And obviously the Baz, we were down 0-1, but it's not the end of the world. You know, new experiences for us all the way through, but, you know, we've proven our resiliency and ability to win games that we need to, and kind of answer the bell and learn from, you know, nights like tonight.
All right, so to break down Game 1, Stephen A. Smith joins us now on Coast to Coast. He is there. He was there last night. We saw you. So we just showed Pascal Siakam. We've been talking about him all morning long. Scouting report says he's a beast now, 32, 8, and 5. Do you see him and the rest of the bench for the Raptors showing up like that for the rest of this series?
No, I don't see him doing that. I don't see him averaging 32 a game, shooting 82% from the field. I don't see that happening at all. But you give credit where credit is due. He obviously showed up last night, was getting some points on the break. They were really pushing the ball. And, of course, like Draymond said, he allowed him to get into a rhythm. That's simply something that you cannot do. But give credit where credit is due. He played well. Marc Gasol played well. Nick Nurse coached exceptionally well, making sure they exploited mismatches when switches took place and got the ball to the people that needed the ball, like Marc Gasol. And, of course, Fred VanVleet came off the bench and continued his torrid stretch. He had 15 points last night, hitting 4 three-pointers. So they deserve a lot of credit where a lot of credit is due. The flip side to it is that Kawhi Leonard ultimately had help when they doubled him and got the ball out of his hands. Steph Curry can't say the same for the Golden State Warriors. When Toronto successfully got the ball out of Steph Curry's hands, nobody really stepped up. Klay Thompson wasn't bad, but he wasn't the Klay Thompson that we know and love in terms of what he's capable of, and nobody else showed up offensively for Golden State. That's a problem.
Well, Golden State obviously has 2 more days to make adjustments, and I heard you talking about this morning on Get Up. So what would you, or how do you see this playing out? Do they still try to go after Kawhi, or do they try to focus on everyone else and let Kawhi just get his?
Well, a couple of things. I definitely think that you might want to explore staying at home, meaning staying with your man, engaging in switches, but not double teaming just to get the ball out of Kawhi Leonard's hands. Make sure that everybody has a body in front of them and just see what they're willing to do. If they want to sit around and let Kawhi Leonard go for 50 and play the role of spectators come fourth quarter when you make adjustments, they might not be in a rhythm to make shots the way that they did normally. And as a result, that could compromise Toronto offensively. But the biggest concern that I have for the Golden State Warriors is health. Iguodala got hurt in the fourth quarter yesterday. He's a pivotal piece in what they're trying to do. You already knew Kevin Durant was out. He's probably not going to be available for Game 2. You're hearing Game 4, but I don't know whether that's true or not. Boogie Cousins comes back last night, can't even give you 10 minutes. Maybe that was because of Steve Kerr. We'll see what adjustments are made then. But Iguodala is a component. He's a former NBA Finals MVP who is more than capable of hitting open shots when left alone in the corner or on the wing. And yesterday, he resembled a construction worker, was shooting bricks before he got injured in the fourth quarter. So when we look at it from that perspective, either Iguodala is going to have to be somebody that does it, or if you are Steve Kerr, you're going to have to lean on a young guy like Alfonso McKinney and put him in a pressurized situation and see what he's got for you, because he's clearly athletic, he's got young legs, and he can hit open shots. You might have to go that route if Iguodala simply is not healthy enough to go for you.
All right, and we obviously know Kevin Durant is needed in this series. We've seen it. We've seen the matchups. You talked about that earlier as well. If Kevin Durant does not show up and we don't see him for the rest of the finals, can the Golden State Warriors get it done?
I think they could get it done if Iguodala is healthy. If Iguodala is not healthy, I don't see any way that they get it done. I don't think you could lose Iguodala and not have Kevin Durant and have Boogie Cousins so compromised. That's just too much to deal with. Even without Boogie, even without Kevin Durant, I give the Golden State Warriors a huge chance if Iguodala is healthy. But him getting hurt in the fourth quarter, clearly not looking like himself, definitely compromised health-wise. I think it's one of those really, really bad situations that if he's not healthy, I think the Golden State Warriors are toast. I'm hoping that's not the case, but it remains to be seen.
All right, Stephen A. Smith says Iguodala's health is definitely the key concern if they want to continue on and become a three-peat champion. That's the Golden State Warriors. Thank you so much, Stephen A., for joining us here on Coast to Coast. You can watch Game 2 of the NBA Finals on Sunday at 8 Eastern on ABC. To look at this guy, he has been doing great. New dad with the most critical shot of the night, 3:20 to play. Yeah, look at that three, rattle, run, and click. The shot clock ticking down. Van Fleet with the three, the shot rolled, played away with us, and he beat the clock. So it was a monster moment. Congrats.
Monster Moment is brought to you by Godzilla, King of the Monsters. Now playing in theaters everywhere. Long live the King.
Let's put some numbers on the Raptors' big win in Game 1. It's been 13 years since the team won its first finals game in team history. That was the Mavericks back in 2006 against the Heat, who also made their debut in the finals in that game. Toronto scored 26 in transition last night, tied for their second most in a game this postseason, and the most Golden State has allowed in any game of these playoffs. And the Raptors forced the Warriors into tough shots, contesting 44 of 78 attempts. Tough shots equated to a rough field goal percentage, shot only 23% on those shots. That was the Warriors' worst percentage in the last 5 postseasons. The Warriors' defensive strategy pretty simple. Get the ball out of Kawhi's hands, make someone else beat you, and Pascal Siakam happily complied. We got our NBA analyst Tim Legler here. That defensive effort by the Warriors, not an isolated incident. Worst defensive efficiency by a Steve Kerr team since he got to Golden State. What's the problem with the D these days?
Their transition defense was awful last night. And I think they all allude to it after the game. They gave up 24 fast break points, but those don't take into consideration secondary fast break points. So who knows? That number could be 35 for all we know. Too easy in a finals game to give them clean looks. And really, for me, Dave, it's all about communication. And first, I want to, as I was watching this, I said, I want to make another point real quick, because you talked about the contested shots. This is just a great play by Kyle Lowry, because there's no business for him to leave the strong side shooter when he's got 2 defenders there. But that's exactly what he does. And he's the guy that causes this miss. That's just sheer effort to make the play. But here's the bigger point for the Warriors. Transition D. Now, as you come up the floor, you see Kawhi Leonard is handling the basketball. Andre Iguodala does a nice job hustling back, and he's declaring ball right now. It's exactly what you're supposed to have. Here comes Kyle Lowry. So, okay, that's going to be Clay. You got a third guy over here, Siakam, who's running to the corner. Draymond Green knows, okay, I'm going to hang out for a second in case Kawhi continues to go, but I know ultimately I'm going to have the shooter if the ball goes there. So where does that leave Kevon Looney? Well, Looney running down the middle of the floor, when the ball's already declared, he needs to be running back here to the lane to provide help in case there is penetration or a quick shot, he's going to get the rebound. That's not what he does. Instead, watch. He runs over and he muddles this whole thing up because now he declares ball. So he hands off Lowry to Iguodala. I guess that's okay. The problem is Klay Thompson now. He doesn't know who he's guarding. He was expecting to get Lowry. Now when Siakam clears out, Draymond Green has to go with him, basically. And remember I said Looney should be in the middle of the lane? Why is that important? Because here comes Marc Gasol running down the middle of the floor, and he just gets a free run. This is an easy 2 points on a play when you had 4 guys back. This should not happen. Miscommunication, you can blame the rust a little bit maybe on this, but for me it was just guys not talking it out and doing their job. Another contested shot here. This example is even worse because when you grab the rebound and there are 9 guys in front of the guy with the ball, there's no way you should give up something quick right away. But watch what happens. Here comes the push. Now you say, well, how does this happen that they get this easy shot? Kawhi's running the lane. Klay Thompson, who's really not even looking at the ball, he figures, I'm going to go here. Here comes Fred VanVleet. That's who Steph Curry is guarding. You can see Steph pointing to the other side of the floor. He's like saying, Sean Livingston, get over there and take ball because I'm picking him up. So the problem on this one is Sean Livingston. He's just jogging in no man's land. He's not accomplishing anything. He should be here to stop the ball, which would allow Draymond Green to stay with Danny Green. But that's not what happens. Nobody gets there. Eventually, obviously, Draymond Green has to stop the basketball. And now you get this simple pitch and catch to a guy who, by the way, has really struggled to make shots. You give him wide open 3, that's a 9-point game with 7.5 minutes to go. It's just not good enough by their standards, by NBA standards, and certainly not for the NBA Finals. And that, to me, is the easiest thing for them to clean up, and that's what they're going to focus on the tape today.
The underreported part of the Warriors dynasty was their defense. I mean, we all know about the glitzy offense. They played good D as well. It wasn't evident last night. Doesn't sound like Durant's going to be there in Game 2. Iguodala banged up his leg again. Who knows what he's going to be like. Cousins didn't give him much. What kind of challenges are the Warriors looking at here?
They've got their hands full. Look, this is going to be a long series now. Last night I thought Toronto, they can't win the series unless they win last night. They can't take that gut punch right off the beginning. They set the tone, what it's going to be like. But look for a much more physical approach out of Draymond Green on Siakam. He talked about it after the game.
Yeah.
He issued the challenge to himself, so I'm really curious to see that matchup. And then the pace offensively. I thought they got sucked into thinking it was all going to work itself out if they just continued to play. I didn't see the same pace and ball movement that you normally see out of the Warriors. Expect that adjustment in Game 2 as well. So, look, they've got their hands full. It's a really good team with a superstar leading them. But it's still the Golden State Warriors. Nobody's bounced back from adversity the way that they have the last 3 years when they needed to.
I think that's what last night we kept on waiting for that Warriors run, and it just never happened. The Raptors basically wire to wire to take Game 1. Legs with us here, breaking it down.
Since we're in game form, you see Drake didn't rub Nick Nurse's shoulders, but he did actually take something away from Steph Curry. We don't know what it was, but that was just a moment. And apparently he went to the gram and said it was some lint, and it's going to be on sale on eBay right now under the username of Draymond Shouldn't Wear 23, suggesting he's not that good or worthy of that. Meanwhile, folks, plenty of familiar faces in the North as Chris Bosh and several former Raptors were on hand for the franchise's first finals appearance. There were reports that former face of the franchise, DeMar DeRozan, would be on hand, but that was just not the case. However, he did have these well wishes for his former teammates. When you look at the Raptors and you look at Kawhi and your dear, dear friend, Kyle, who's always been loyal to you, how do you feel about that organization now?
You can't never have no malicious intent towards nothing because it'll come right back on you at the end of the day. You know, so for me, every guy that I have a relationship with on that team, you know, I talk to them at least once a week, you know, tell them if I see somebody about the game, what they didn't do, what they did, what I could help with, you know. So for me, it'd be different if I was the guy like, I don't want to hear that. Don't call me. I hope y'all lose. You know, I just try to be supportive because at the end of the day, it'll come back around.
It will.
So for me, happy for him.
Okay. And we'll leave it right there.
Yeah, we leave it right
all
there.
right. And we will. basketball, shall we? The Raptors will look to do something that no other team has been able to do, beat Steve Kerr and the Warriors in 4 straight games in a single season. Only 3 other teams won 3 straight. The Rockets this year, the Jazz last year, and the 2015-16 Cavs, who overcame a 3-1 deficit in the finals. That shot Golden State, if not everyone in sports. Meanwhile, free agent defensive